It's April 3rd, 2019. Welcome back to Destination Pro Wrestling. My name is Tony. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Tango with Tango. And today we're going to talk about AEW's big announcement for their ring announcers, commentators, and backstage interviewers. Now, one of the craziest parts about this announcement is it's something that we've been talking about for several months. In fact, on the channel, a lot of people ended up saying that I was an idiot or I was dumb because it just wasn't going to happen. Well, according to the dropped news that came out today, I was right. And no, I'm not a genius for this. I think it was pretty obvious Jim Ross was going to AEW, but I think the commentary team is definitely an interesting choice for AEW. If you guys didn't know, on the road to Double or Nothing, AEW revealed that Alex Marvez, Excalibur, and Jim Ross will be the three-man commentary team for Double or Nothing. They revealed that Alex Marvez has been practicing commentary with Cody Rhodes, and Cody's been a big fan of what they've seen from him. If you guys don't know who he is the one who has been emceeing the previous press conferences with Conrad Thompson. And I don't know much about him other than the fact that he was a Sirius XM host. So I'm hoping in this situation it's nothing too crappy. Obviously, I'm hoping that he can kill it on commentary. But another thing that we also need to discuss is who they have for a ring announcer and a backstage interviewer. Now, I don't know to the extent of these agreements. We know that Jim Ross had signed a 3-year deal with AEW. I actually posted this on the community tab. So if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, the community tab is a great way to stay in tune. Obviously, I kind of have like my own timeline for the channel and when I upload content. And usually it is at the evening. But throughout the day, if there's breaking news and stuff like that, I post it in the community tab. So make sure you guys are subscribed for that because I like to have a conversation with everybody, have an open dialogue about pro wrestling news. And that's a good spot to go if you guys are a fan of pro wrestling. Now, one of the things that I wasn't really sure, other than the Jim Ross 3-year deal, is the exclusivity of the new ring announcer and backstage interviewer. The backstage interviewer is Alicia Atout, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. And she's currently with Impact Wrestling, and she does all of the social media and backstage interviews with Impact Wrestling. Now, it's been said for a while, Melissa Santos from Lucha Underground would be taking over that position, but looked like Impact was using both of them. So we don't know for sure if Alicia is out of Impact Wrestling. They didn't confirm this, but we know that she is with All Elite Wrestling. Whether it's an exclusive deal, we don't know, but she is confirmed for Double or Nothing. And then the ring announcer is Justin Roberts, which if you guys don't know who that is the former ring announcer for WWE. And he had a very interesting exit from WWE. So altogether, I'm not sure how I feel about these announcements. With commentary team having Excalibur, Alex Marvez, and Jim Ross, I'm not sure if we're getting the kind of commentary team we deserve. I don't have anything against Excalibur or Alex Marvez or Jim Ross, but I wanted to see something new and something fresh. And I guess in some capacity, this is what we're looking for, but I'm just not sure if these are the names that I was expecting. Especially with AEW being more sports-centric, I feel like Jim Ross I think he could do a very good job, but only time will tell. So I don't want to put out too much judgment just yet on this commentary decision. I think as time goes on, we'll see kind of what happens and, you know, how it works and who works out and who doesn't. Excalibur is the voice of PWG, so I'm excited for him. I think it's really just the Alex Marvez choice. I don't know. I had a strange feeling during these previous press conferences that he would be selected, but I just didn't know for sure, and I don't really know how I feel about it. As far as Alicia Atout goes, she runs Ambi, which is fantastic. She's a great personality to have on camera for AEW. If you guys don't remember, she actually did the backstage correspondence for All In. So I think this is a really good move by AEW, putting her in that position. Justin Roberts, on the other hand, great voice. Like I said, his exit from WWE was very questionable. He seemed a little sour, and I think that kind of draws me away from people when I see their negativity, especially on social media, especially if they're not happy with WWE, because nobody's forcing you to work for WWE, AEW, TNA, any of these companies. Like, you have choices, and there's always been choices. Maybe WWE is the biggest one, but it doesn't mean you can't get a job elsewhere. And if you think about it, we really haven't seen Justin Roberts since. So in that regard, it's a very interesting choice for AEW to choose him, but I do think he's skillful, and I think he's going to do a great job. Now, I wanted to talk about these positions and kind of what we can expect, okay? We know that AEW is going to be a more sport-centric product. So with it being more catered to, records and just having a more serious approach, and it's really geared towards making it feel like a sport, I think this is an interesting choice for all parties involved. I think for AEW, you're definitely testing the waters with inexperienced people, and you're mixing it with veterans. So that's kind of one good thing, right? Like a guy like Jim Ross is also going to be the senior advisor. I think it's a good thing having veterans mixed with some people that don't have experience. Obviously, time's going to tell how AEW develops the voice of their show. I'll be at Double or Nothing. I'm going to be there in attendance, so I'm not going to be able to hear commentary. So it's going to be a very, very interesting thing. Obviously, with Jim Ross coming back to AEW, or coming to AEW, I should say, with him going to AEW, I think it's a really good thing for Jim Ross. He needs to be on TV. He needs to be telling a story. I mean, some of the biggest wrestling matches of all time would not be big if it wasn't for Jim Ross. So I think it's a good move. I think it's a good move for him to be there. I think it's just a very interesting choice. I don't understand the idea of having a commentator wearing a mask. So that's kind of my only gripe with Excalibur, but it's something different and it's something fresh. And you know what? I'm hoping to see AEW put on a great show, but at the end of the day, this is going to be make or break. Honestly, I do think this is a make or break situation. If you can't have commentary deliver, if you can't, if these people are stumbling on words, if they're not professional to the point where they can get people over by telling stories and really selling the match, it's going to be a very difficult time tuning into AEW because commentary does matter. These things do matter. Justin Roberts is the only person that really doesn't matter in this situation because he's not going to have to tell the story. He's going to make small moments feel big, obviously doing ring announcing, but that's pretty much all he's responsible for. Now, I do want to shift gears towards some news about the Usos because a lot of people had thought the Usos were going to sign to AEW. So I want to kind of talk about this for a few minutes just to let you guys know that that is not happening. The Usos did, in fact, re-sign with WWE for a deal up to 5 years. So what we know here is the Usos did not sign with AEW, and for a lot of people that thought maybe, we all remember the news, Uso getting arrested, and people thought he was doing it on purpose so he could get released. Guys, money talks. WWE's got a lot of money. They didn't want to lose their SmackDown tag team championships or champion holders. Obviously with this, we know the Usos are staying with WWE. They're not going to AEW. But it is being reported that several people are still looking to get out. Obviously, we don't know what's going on with Dean Ambrose. If we see Dean Ambrose in the AEW ring, it's going to be interesting. But this is a very interesting time for pro wrestling, guys. And I want you guys to stick to this channel because we're going to have a lot of things happening. I'm going to try to improve this channel as much as possible. And a lot of that comes from your guys' feedback. So, Dean Ambrose going to AEW, it's something we could potentially be talking about on the channel in just a few weeks. We know by next week he's no longer going to be in contract with WWE. And this past Monday, we know that he completely signed off. He did his farewell post-television, so they didn't have it televised, but we know that he took one last bow. So we know the Usos re-signed with WWE. We know that there's several other people trying to leave WWE. Obviously, only time will tell who actually leaves WWE and goes into AEW. But it's a very interesting time for WWE because there's also been reports that Michael Cole could be leaving. We talked about this on the channel. We've had reports that have come out about certain individuals, looking to take a break, and there's just a lot of changes that could be happening. So I think only time will tell, but ultimately it's going to be a very interesting time if you're a pro wrestling fan. So with that being said, guys, make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you guys click that like button, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to click subscribe here on DestinationPW.com, the #1 YouTube channel. I'm just messing, guys. But hey, in all seriousness, make sure you guys subscribe. There's a lot of people that create wrestling news. There's a lot of people that do it. And listen, I'm not here to compete. I'm here to have fun and enjoy talking about pro wrestling with fans. And I feel like it's a more personable conversation. So with that being said, I'll talk to you guys next time, and make sure you guys click subscribe.